Baby, are we ready for this show? I'm Dr. Pat. I'm here with Mark Anthony, the psychic lawyer, just coming off the big congratulations of his fabulous book. And boy, he is so busy. Honestly, he really is busy. I mean, he's doing a little Halloween thing, and then he's doing webinars, and then he's doing sessions, and then he's putting me to shame because I'm just running the network. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, like that, you know.
No, honestly, I was looking at all the things that you're doing, and I'm like, holy cow, I got to get out more. Oh,
well, that's when I think of you. I go, how does she do it? I mean, how many shows are on Transformation Network now? You know, I mean, it's like OMG. I mean, it's great. Well, I mean, we're busy, and this is a good thing. Yeah, I got a lot going on, and very happy for it. You know, as we know, my new book, The Afterlife Frequency, is out, and since its official launch on October 12th, I got word from Columbia University that it has been submitted for a Pulitzer Prize, and I was like totally blown away by that. And then it's hit bestseller status on Amazon and has held this consistently. And then a couple days ago, Shirley MacLaine's newsletter, the Shirleygram,
yes,
she said, I recommend The Afterlife Frequency by Mark Anthony, and wrote some really beautiful things about it. So this has been quite a week. I'm very humbled. I'm very honored. And, you know, on October 5th was when the audio version of The Afterlife Frequency came out. And I was a guest on my favorite show, the Dr. Pat show. And but you know, it was fun because it was different than, you know, here we're co-hosting, and there, you know, you're the host and I was the guest. And but it was such an honor. Thank you, Dr. Pat, for letting me launch my book on your show, and
fun.
Transformation Network, which is our cyber home. And this is going to be a great show tonight because we're going to be taking calls from listeners. And for everybody who's tuned in, the number is 1-800-930-2819. And, you know, Dr. Pat, we were talking about, I mean, certainly grief is something everybody has to deal with, but this time of year, autumn, is very symbolic. Leaves are falling, trees are going dormant. And at least in the Northern Hemisphere, for our friends in the Southern Hemisphere, it's spring, renewal and rebirth. But this is a time that symbolically is when life is coming to an end. And that was one of the reasons that we decided that this needed to be a call-in show tonight.
It has to be a call-in show tonight. And, for a lot of reasons, let's talk about it. With the change of the seasons, and Linda and I were joking about this a little bit. It's been an interesting change in seasons. And I made an observation, at least here. And I don't know how it is on the East Coast very much, but I know for the longest time, the leaves weren't turning. Yeah. And here it was the same thing, and they weren't falling. And I said, I think they were waiting for Mercury to come out of retrograde. I said, Mercury was in retrograde. And my friend who's an astrologer said to me, that has nothing to do with it. Mercury is in charge of communication. I said, I think that trees communicate with each other, and they decide in that communication when they want to drop their leaves. Everybody thinks it's the weather changing. No. The leaves drop when the tree says they're going to drop. But that's a metaphor for life as well. And when we think about this season changing, I can remember, for me, this was one of the toughest seasons of a year as a kid growing up. And not that every season, but I have post-traumatic stress disorder around being a 6-year-old and being sent off to Catholic boarding school this time of year. Now, no 6-year-old should be in Catholic boarding school. I just want to say that. But I can remember that moment. But the air changes, Mark, right? See, let's talk about change. Jacob, I don't know if you can get this song, but there's a song by this group once upon a time called Expose. And they wrote a song called Seasons Change. And I think about that, and you can't help think about our loved ones. You can't help think about what that means, Mark. Do you know what I mean? See, you wrote this book about frequency, right? Afterlife Frequency. And the Afterlife Frequency has, when I read the book, there's an energy that you talk about that allows us to tap in at a cellular level to changes like this, isn't there?
Exactly. And, you brought up a very interesting point. You said to the trees, they communicate and they decide. Scientists have found that tree roots, even different species of trees, when they touch each other, it appears that there is a form of communication going on. And it's quite possibly that it could be biophotons, that on a cellular level, the cells in our body and in other animals produce flashes of light that are not visible to the human eye, but are on a cellular level. And MIT actually produced a study a couple of years back that biophotons are a form of inter and intracellular communication. And it appears that trees do the same thing. So, as usual, you hit the nail on the head. Trees are talking to each other. People, oh, that's crazy. But now, we're finding science to back up that, we really are all interconnected, and not just people, but we're connected to other animals, to plants, to our planet. Last week when Captain Kirk, William Shatner, went into space, watching his reaction after that and him crying, it just really touched me the way he said, when you look at the Earth and this thin blue blanket around it, and you see how alive Earth is, and it's the difference between life and death, this cold void of space. We are all interconnected, and now science is beginning to prove this. I think that's fantastic.
And, I want to just say this. I mean, somebody just sent me a little text message about that song, and I don't know if Jacob can play that song or find that song. So this is how well your friends know you, right? When you mention a song like Seasons Change by Expose, and you get a message, I think it came out in 1987, and you get a message from a listener that says, was this the time you were talking about when you were really, really depressed? Because this is like a really depressing song. Why is it depressing though, Mark? In support of what you just said. Okay, let's take a moment.
Yeah.
Let's take a moment, right? This song could have been ripped right out of some of the pages of your book. And then we're going to go to phones. Here are the lyrics. Some dreams are in the nighttime and some seem like yesterday, but leaves turn brown and fade. Ships sail away. You long to say 1,000 words, but seasons change. Yeah. It feels like it's forever. No reason for emptiness, but time just runs away. No more day by day. You dream again. It seems in vain when seasons change. I mean, the whole song's like that.
I know, that's hitting the heartstrings.
Well, oh, baby. Yeah, isn't that why we're doing the show today like this, though?
It is. And in the energetic and the spiritual sense, we're all interconnected. And our loved ones do not disintegrate when they die. Their vibrational frequency transitions to the afterlife frequency, to a higher vibration. But that being said, it's the physicality of the person. And the hard part is losing that physicality. You can't hug that person, can't sit down and have lunch or breakfast or whatever. And we have to realize that our relationship goes from one of a physical nature to one of a spiritual nature. And that's very important. From what I've seen in the journey through grief, is once the acceptance that you have a spiritual relationship doesn't make it all better, but it's accepting the change.
Yeah.
You know, change is hard. Change imposed is change opposed. And losing a loved one is definitely change imposed.
I got to tell you, I've been reflecting a lot, and we're going to take a short break. And when we come back, we're going to go right to the phones. There's also, Jacob, a YouTube video of this song too, if you want to grab the YouTube version of it. Now, why do I relate to songs like this? Okay, let's just be honest. And if you all listen to Dr. Patchell, you've heard me talk about this a lot lately when guests have not shown up. Yes. I think I was depressed for most of my, I ran in between, okay, Rocky's going to have fun with this. I ran in between this not understanding activist, crazy child, as I was called. I was called crazy child. That was it. I ran between a stepmom that brought us up as activists, brought us up to fight for rights. Do you know how I know my stepmom did that? She's probably listening. She's probably, Mom, this show's not for you. We got to go to callers. But I was talking to one of our hosts that does a show on racism. And I said, you know what's interesting about my mom? You know how my mom was definitely in tune to the times and the diversity what we grew up in? She could have moved my family to any place in New Jersey. She picked Plainfield, New Jersey. And I asked my mom, why did you pick Plainfield? She said, because the way you were raised and the way you grew up and what you were used to as a kid, you would have been a fish out of water, putting you in a school that didn't represent the diversity you grew up with. She said, Pat, don't you remember? You couldn't even talk right. I mean, I love my stepmom. But this show is about doing the remembering, the honoring, allowing the leaves to fall,
yes,
and know that the tree is not dying.
Awesome. And that is exactly it, because the leaves falling is part of the cycle. You know, it's the hardest part, but it's the part, and the tree doesn't die. Very good. I love it. I find it interesting.
That's a stepmom thing. I guarantee you my stepmom has been around me today, because my stepmom had a Southern drawl, and you could hear her saying it. So you could hear my mom saying, you know, honey, I'll tell you right now, you know, that tree that is losing those leaves. Let me tell you something right now. That those leaves falling on a tree, that does not mean that tree is not dying. That tree is alive. Let's take a short break. When we come back, we're going right to the phones, everybody. You're listening to The Psychic and the Doc, and I think my mama just is like all over this. We'll be right back. Come on. Who wouldn't do that? Who wouldn't sacrifice tomorrow to have a loved one here today? Oh my God, I'm getting all chilled out here. Mark. We've got some fabulous callers ready to talk to us.
Absolutely.
Right? But
All
before we
right.
do that, can you tell folks, one, how do they get a hold of you? How do they work with you? And how do they get a copy of the book? And then we're going to turn it over to Jacob.
Absolutely. To get to order your book, The Afterlife Frequency, please go to my website, afterlifefrequency.com. Sign up for my newsletter. Also, you can sign up for a private one-on-one reading, and you can find all that at afterlifefrequency.com. And I think it is time to take calls from listeners.
Yeah. And I just want to say to Facebook, we would like to give full credit to Expose for that song, transformative song from 1987 of Seasons Change. All right, let's go to the phones.
Alrighty, first up, we've got Susan from Orlando. Hey there, Susan.
Hi, Susan. Hi, Susan. You're live on The Psychic and the Doc.
Hi there.
Hey.
Hey.
How can we help you today?
My uncle passed. His funeral is Saturday. And I've been dealing with Mark for a long time, and I would like to know who greeted him, who is with him right now.
Well, hold on. In spirit communication, and this is not just for you, but for everybody, you got to be careful going into a reading with your list of, here's what I want to know. Okay, what I do is I'm like a radio. I open up to the afterlife frequency and spirits come forward. He may answer that, he may not, or somebody else may come through first. So let's see, was this your mother's brother?
Yes, it was.
Okay, well, that's good. Looks like we got him. Okay, hold on. You have a big family, or did he have a big family?
Yes.
Because he said there was 15 people there. It's like, wow. Okay. I mean, there's a lot of folks on the other side, like, infinite numbers, but so there was 15 people there. And now he keeps showing me a fishing rod, a hook, and a fish. Now, look, I know lots of guys go fishing and all that, but is there something about getting hooked, like fishing rod, that would make sense to you in any way? Doesn't have to be with him, but you in any way.
He spent a lot of time fishing with my father.
Okay. Is Dad here in this world or the other side?
He's on the other side.
Oh, is there a Heath or a Keith? And the reason I'm saying this is I'm tasting a Heath bar. Okay. So that could mean somebody really likes toffee and milk chocolate. I mean, which are great, but a lot of times when I get a Heath bar, that could be a trigger for a name similar to like Heath or Keith. Or does a toffee make sense to you in any way? You're thinking too hard. First thing when you think of toffee, go with that.
First thing when I think of coffee, half and half.
Toffee. Toffee. Toffee.
Oh, toffee, like in the, okay.
Like in the Heath bar. Yeah, exactly.
Just goodness.
Okay. Well, for some reason, your dad is there with him, and I'm getting this whole toffee thing, and there could be a name like Heath or Keith as well. And the funny thing is, you asked, your dad says, well, who do you think was greeting him? It's me. Okay. Along with these 14 other people. And which one of these folks on the other side had like these big boots? It's almost like the type of boots like when you see people like fishermen put on those big boots, but it's also like firemen when they put on those big rubber
like waders.
Boots. Yeah, waders. That's what I was looking for. Yeah. Who wore the waders? Because I'm getting guys. Yeah, go ahead.
I imagine my dad had waders. Yes.
Okay, great. And who's the Gemini? Gemini. This could also mean the Gemini time frame, which runs between May 20th and June 20th. There could be births, deaths, anniversaries, or events within the Gemini time frame. It can also be the symbol for twins. There could be, twins connected to you or them. And sometimes with Gemini, I get a name like Jimmy. Anyways, but I'm getting Gemini keeps getting repeated.
That might be my his niece who's on this side.
Okay.
She's a Gemini.
Oh, okay. All right. So they're talking about the Gemini. All right. So we got your dad, we got your uncle. Is your mom still here in this world? Because they're talking about your mom.
Yes, she is.
Okay.
She is still here.
I'm laughing because they keep giving me, and I know this is the time of year for it, but I keep tasting sweet potato pie and pumpkin pie, which I have to admit, two of my favorites, but I don't eat them anymore because I'm trying to stay away from sugar, because
Right.
for a whole lot of reasons. But is there something about you, your mom, or any of them with sweet potato pie and pumpkin pie?
Well, my mother just moved into a new nursing home. It happened to be the first day that she moved in was her anniversary with my dad. And I bought her a fruit bowl and with some fresh fruit, and I put a little tiny pumpkin in it. So that might be it.
That might very well be it. So that's your dad's way of letting you know that he's around and aware of what's happening. And your uncle said it was time he needed to let go. And I'm getting a lot of pains in my chest with him. So he was ready to go. Dr. Pat, do you have any insight? Sorry, I didn't mean to catch you drinking some
Drink
water.
that water right there. The only insight I had is Gemini also is the representative of twins. And that could be twins, like biological twins, or it could be twin and twin flames. Usually represents two.
Oh, goodness gracious. I found out that his daughter, her son, is getting ready to have twins.
Bingo, Dr. Pat. Very good. Very good.
They just found out right after they died, and they made a joke. This probably happened because of Charlie and because that's his sense of humor. They were unexpected pregnancy.
Yeah.
Well, and that's good because that's them letting you know that they're aware of these things. Sorry, Dr. Pat, didn't mean to interrupt.
That's right. No, that's all I had to say. I mean, as you were talking, that's all I could think about was twins. Twins. There was somewhere going to be twins. Wow. Well, does that, Mark, what does that clarify the message any?
Absolutely. That's a verifiable fact following message. Also, spirits know a lot more than they did when they were here. People tend to think that they're limited to what they knew when they're in physical form. But when the soul, what I call the electromagnetic soul, and the energy field in our brain leaves the body and becomes part of the afterlife frequency, they're patched into an infinite intelligence.
Wow.
And so that's why they're able to scan people and say that, okay, twins are an issue. They're letting you know about the pumpkin, which you connected to. You put a little pumpkin on the fruit bowl for your mom, and they let you know that they're around, and they give all these details about things going on here in this world. So your uncle is fine. He's with your dad and a whole lot of other folks. So thank you so very much for calling.
Thank you.
God bless.
So much.
Yeah. Oh,
Thank
awesome.
You so much, Mark.
You betcha. Let's go take another caller if we could, Jacob.
Absolutely. We're going to head over to Florida again, and this time we've got Denise.
Hi, Denise. You're live on the Psychic and the Doc.
Hey, Denise.
Hey, Denise. You're live.
Can you hear me?
You're live.
Yes, we can hear you. Hi, Denise. What can we do for you?
Well, I'm just wondering, I keep hearing, if you can hear me, I keep hearing my name, Denise, and it's very loud, and then that's it, and I'll say, what? And it scares me. I'll say, what? Nothing else, and then I don't hear it again for days or months, and then I hear my name being yelled again. Somebody trying to talk to me?
Does the name Brian could also be Ryan, but does the name Brian, either in this world or the other side, make sense to you in any way?
Well, yeah, there's a nephew. That's his name, but he's here.
No, that's okay. So whoever is communicating is where Brian. What's Brian's relationship to you?
He was my brother's stepson.
Your brother's stepson. And is your brother on the other side?
Yes.
There we go. That is who you're hearing from. Denise, and I'm hearing Brian, which is his stepson. Okay. Let's see. Why is he? I don't mean to laugh, but he's kind of having some fun with you, Denise. He's not here to taunt you or all that. He said that he is doing this to open up your awareness because you've gotten to a point in your life where you're becoming more spiritually sensitive. And he keeps showing me, oh my gosh, I haven't seen one of these in forever. You know, remember a color wheel? It was like this lamp and it had this rotating wheel with colors, like 4 different colors on it. I remember, yeah, go ahead. There's a color wheel. And I remember like the aluminum Christmas trees and people would shine those on so they change colors. Does that make sense to you? Any of that in any way?
Yes, from years and years ago. My grandmother had one in a lamp, and it wasn't really a wheel. It was I guess when the bulb got hot, the lampshade would go around, and it was a little cowboy scene, little horse and cowboy man going around.
Well, there you
Either
go.
That or a lava lamp. I just gave his son a lava lamp.
Okay, so you see how the lamps are making sense. Also, because your grandmother's on the other side, she's over there with your brother. So you got a whole bunch of folks there, and they're bringing up all these messages. And Dr. Pat, lamp is the key here. And I'm turning that one over to you.
I got to ask you a question. Denise, do you have an admirer? Do you have somebody that's got a crush on you?
Do I have what?
Somebody that's got a crush on you.
I think so.
Okay,
I mean,
so here's what I get.
To relationships.
Okay. All right. So, okay, this is where I'm coming from. I don't know why I'm in the song vibe today. Sorry. There's an old school song. It's called Denise, Denise. Have you heard of that old school song? Like really old school.
Yes.
Do you remember that song? So this is like Denise, Denise, I'm in love with you with your eyes so blue. I don't know if you have blue eyes. I got a crush on you.
Well,
what are you doing? What are you doing about that?
I mean, you know, it'd be nice to have a date.
Well, maybe you need to call this crush person.
Call who?
The person that you think has a crush on you.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's just one of these people that's been calling me for since August. Every day, wishes me good morning, wishes me good night, tells me he's going to see me, and then kind of disappears. Then he calls again, doesn't even mention that, hey, we had a date, the other day, and I kind of blew it off. Never even mentioned, hi, how are you? So I'm kind of
that.
I don't know. I'm always polite to him, but I think he's a little strange.
And that's actually why I want to talk to you about it. And now I know why it's coming up. Okay, so when you are involved with somebody like that, you're absolutely right. I don't care how many times he's calling Denise, he's calling you, and then he doesn't show up. That's like crazy making. That's like crazy.
That's
town.
Crazy. And I'm not interested really. I'm
so Denise, when you're hearing your name, you need to be like, no, not today, not on my watch. I'm not going to be jerking around.
Yeah, because I'm just starting to get a strange feeling,
Okay, trust your feelings. I know Dr. Pat, I'll turn it back. But
you're right. No, you're right, Mark.
Yeah, this is one of the things that I teach in all my books, particularly in the Afterlife Frequency, about trusting your intuition.
Yeah.
And so, your brother in spirit is calling your name.
Yep.
And okay, Dr. Pat, Pat's a behavioral psychologist. And
part of this, is what you said. When a brother calls your name and you're hearing that name, what else is happening in your real life? Somebody is calling you. And so what's the message of your brother calling to remind you, right? And to give you a sense of awareness that you already know. Now, look, I tell you, if somebody says, okay, I'm going to meet you, we're going to go on a date, and they don't show up for a date, they're like, I take out my little pen and they're like X'd out. Like it's an X'd out.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I will give you, I'll tell you where the exception is.
But I just,
Let me tell you the exception. The exception is life happens to people. Sometimes things happen, but not like call you up like nothing ever happened. So there you got your answer. That's you're coming through your brother calling Denise, the song Denise, or Crush. And have you asked him like what happened to you, dude? Have you said like,
no, I don't,
hey,
because he starts the conversation with, hey, how are you? Like nothing, you know?
Yeah,
and
but
I'm just,
okay.
Oh, okay, everything's nice. Yeah,
no,
blah, blah,
you're
blah,
not
blah,
okay.
You know?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Here, let me give you a little advice. No, you're not okay. Dude, you didn't show up. What is up with that? Don't call me. If you can't show up when you say you're going to show up, I'm not okay.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'll be honest with you. I'm afraid to give him my address, or I'm glad
no,
I never.
yeah, right.
Yeah, you should.
No,
Hello.
No. Yeah, don't. Yeah. That's like a no. I'm not even like Mark. I mean, I could tell you, I don't need somebody on the other side telling me no. That's a no.
That's a no.
That's a no.
Yeah.
Okay, got a lot of information in this one call today.
Yep. So Denise, forewarned is forearmed. This very well could be spirit intervention, where, and maybe he's a decent guy, got to give the disclaimer. But on the other hand, if you're getting feelings of foreboding, trust your feelings.
Yeah. And I'm not making a judgment on, I'm not making a judgment on the guy.
I mean, this is August, September, October. We're going into November. And, he's always going to take me out and never shows up. He's a complaint. Now, I'm starting to get like I'm really glad I didn't tell him where I live or.
I'm really glad you didn't either.
Like don't.
Look, this is not a judgment on this man. It's not. This is really.
No.
This is saying to you,
guy, but not for me.
Yeah, you deserve better. You deserve people that are going to say what they're going to do and then do it with you. Denise, you deserve better. Okay.
I'm waiting. I'm patient.
All right. Well, if you clear this out, chances are you're going to open up to it. Thank you so much. Let's go to a short break, Mark. When we come back, really short break, we're going to go right to the phones. Denise, thank you.
And Mark, congratulations on the book.
Oh, thank you, Denise. God bless you.
Yes. Jacob, let's take us to a short break. And when we come back, we'll go right on the phones. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Psychic and the Doc. If you want to find out more about me, the Dr. Pat Show. For Mark, how do we get your book, Mark? How do we work with you?
The afterlifefrequency.com, just like the book, afterlifefrequency.com. It's available at all fine bookstores. I know, Dr. Pat, you're in Seattle, and one of my favorite bookstores, East West Bookshop, is carrying it. Barnes and Noble's carrying it, all fine bookshops, Body, Mind, and Soul in Houston, Aquarian Dreams in Florida, For Heaven's Sake in Denver. These are some of the wonderful venues that I've been at. There's so many more, but please visit my website, afterlifefrequency.com. And I understand from Jacob, Dr. Pat, that we've got some folks on the line.
Let's do it.
That's right. And we've got Carol from Florida calling in for the first time.
Hey, Carol, welcome to the Psychic and the Doc. You're live.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. How can we help you?
Hi, thanks. Thanks for taking my call. I have a question, or maybe I'm looking for clarification on what happens with pets that cross over. I hear so much conflicting information, and I see a lot of different animal communication.
Hold on.
It's all very confusing.
Carol, you've come to the right place. First off, it is only human arrogance. It is only human arrogance to assume that only human beings have souls. All right. In my book, The Afterlife Frequency, I explain and introduce a new concept, the electromagnetic soul. And I won't go into all that, but our brain operates on electricity, electromagnetic energy, and that is basically the scientific explanation of our soul. And any being capable of the emotion of love is capable of spirit communication. I've communicated, received contact from dogs, cats, birds, bunnies, horses, gerbils, even a bear one time. I did a really really nice reading for a woman yesterday, and her father came through, and next to him was this beautiful, like reddish brown horse with a white leg. And she said, "Oh my God, that is the horse I was riding when I learned that my father had died." Okay. And it was a really sweet, beautiful, gentle animal. And that being spirit came through with her father. So animals do transition to the afterlife frequency, because energy is neither created nor destroyed, only transferred from one form to another. So does that answer your preliminary question?
Partly, because I hear some people that say the only way an animal can come through, if that is a reality, that they are on the other side and they can be communicated with, that the only way they can come through is by connecting through an individual, that the animal cannot come forth on its own without having like a mediary, like you had mentioned here, the dad came through and then the horse came through after that. Is it so that's confusing, because I have heard that is the only way that they will come through. And then I also, part of the confusion with all of this is that I see that there are hundreds and hundreds of communicators, of people that claim to be animal communicators, that are, I don't know, I question the validity on that, that they appear to be more intuitive, or they're taking a course by somebody else that's corporatized animal communication, and then they're just kind of jumping on that bandwagon and then just
Carol,
what the teacher says. So I'm really swirling all around with this.
Carol,
Okay.
I've given you my explanation. Okay. For more on that, please consult my books. Dr.
Okay.
Pat?
I want to just break it down to a real street smart perspective. Okay. This is the way I think about it. I wonder why in the depiction, like we have from churches and I don't even know what to call them, institutions, I wonder why so many pictures of like angels have animals in them. I'm just curious. I don't know the answer. I'm just curious. I also wonder why humans were given the gift to have a connection with animals at a deep, may I say, soul level. I wonder why this is. And I think Mark said it best. But here's the thing I've learned for myself. I don't know if this is going to help you. I've loved several dogs, cats, seriously, snakes in my lifetime. I've just, and when I say the word love, a connection to them, like talking with them, like they can hear you intuitively. I've also had my life saved by one of them. It is hard for me to imagine in the angelic realm, the realm that Mark talked about, that somehow their frequency and energy is excluded. Yeah. So in a situation like this, I choose to follow what's in my heart. I don't listen to animal communicators about them, and I have at least one on a show every month. I do 10 hours of radio a week, and I guarantee you. But what's in your heart, right? That's what I want you to hold on to. Because when you transition and the frequency of that, and you carry, in my case, my collie of 13 years in my heart, it's going to be hard for me to imagine that that energy is not going to come with me. So let me leave you with that. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for calling. That was a great question. I love it. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Carol.
That's a great question. I can't even imagine all of a sudden us going and transitioning and all the people we loved and all the animals we loved, just like what? Where did they go? Where does that love go?
How could it be heaven without these animals that, you know, have been part of our family?
Yeah. Let's go, Jacob.
All right, we've got Kay from California.
Hi, Kay. Welcome. Hey, Kay, you're live on the Psychic and the Doc.
Hello?
Yes,
Hi.
that's you.
How are you guys?
Hey, how are you? You're live. How can we help you?
Good, thank you. I am
welcome.
calling because I wanted to see if a friend would come through, Karen. And
Let Mark take it.
Hold on,
Yeah.
Kay. Hold on. Remember what I was saying to the earlier caller. Be careful about coming in with "I want this," and I'm not criticizing you specifically, but this is another thing I explain about when you go into spirit communication with "I want." Inadvertently, you're creating angst, which can create a barrier. So let me open up to frequency and see who comes through. Okay. There is a female energy associated with you coming through, and I'm getting a lot of pain and pressure in my sinuses. So she was having difficulty with sinuses and breathing, and this feels like, this is a very unpleasant sensation. It feels like intubation, you know, when medical professionals have to stick those tubes up your nose. And the other issue that I'm getting with her is in her lower GI tract, in the area of the colon, in that area. And I'm feeling throughout her entire GI tract, it feels like it's blocked. So she was having issues with peristalsis. In other words, the movement of matter through her GI tract feels like that was very, very slow moving, painful. And then I get this draining sensation throughout my body. And the draining sensation is an indicator, Kay, that this woman's passing was not a quick event, that she was very, very ill. And now she's projecting to me a sense of nausea. Nausea can indicate, once again, issues with the GI tract, difficulty eating or holding down food prior to passing. But in some instances, nausea is a cancer indicator. Does this make sense with your friend or to some other female connected to you?
Well, I really don't know the exact cause of death of this particular friend. But I don't know anybody else with that issue that has passed with that issue that I know of. But she was a mentor to me. So if anything comes in of a mentor type,
right, but what happens is when spirit, hold on, when spirits come through to me, one of the first things they do is I get their gender, and then I get issues surrounding her cause of death. And she's talking about vegetarianism. Now, does that make sense to you in any way? Okay, in what way?
She was.
There we go. This is her. Okay, so we got her. Okay, now, hold on. She just said, this is funny. She said that your eating habits are like a yo-yo. There's times that you're super strict about it, and then, what the hell? You know, and that's exactly how she put it. And she's like, boring, you know, it's bouncing back and forth. And she said that, you know what, it's okay. She said, because for the most part, you stick to eating in a more healthful sense. But she's also concerned about what's going on with you with both hydration and sodium intake, because immediately I'm very, very thirsty and I'm tasting salt and I feel that hydration. I feel this thirst throughout my body. Is there anything going on with you, Kay, involving sodium, which can indicate high blood pressure?
I love salt.
There we go.
Salt, and I don't believe I have high blood pressure, but I do love salty foods. And I typically drink a lot of water, but recently I haven't. And I've been telling myself, you got to remember to drink more water. Okay,
remember how she was saying boring, back and forth? Okay, let's cut back on the salt, all right? And let's drink more water, because here's the thing. The sodium is leading towards high blood pressure, but it creates other problems as well, like fluid retention. It also messes with your functioning of your liver, your kidneys, your pancreas, your heart. And when you drink lots of water, you help to flush and lower sodium levels. And this spirit, this friend of yours, Karen, was very health conscious, and she wants you to continue eating properly. Yeah, you can cheat now and again, but let's stick to the straight and narrow, at least when it comes to the food and the hydration. Dr. Pat?
Yeah, I think, let me just ask you a quick question. I know you love salt, and when I think about that, there's also water. So when you're talking about salt, I'm thinking salt water. I'm thinking water. What's your relationship to the ocean, or what Mark said in the ocean, and your friend, your mentor friend?
I particularly love the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
I am not sure how much she loved the ocean, but it's funny because she's a mentor, and she's mentoring me on my health, and that's amazing. That's awesome, because that shows that she cares, and that she says this is the best for your health, and this is the best I can do for you, is just tell you to take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Do you swim?
Yes.
Have you been swimming lately?
No, I have not been very active.
That's where I'm going with it. So yeah, I mean, part of it is like Mark said, it's sodium, it's changing your diet, but it's also moving your body, right? And I just kept seeing swimming. I don't know if you live by the ocean. I don't know what that means to you, but
I have a pool.
You have a pool.
I have a pool, and I have not used it. I just haven't been feeling like going in and swimming.
Okay. Right. So
then she's telling me I have to swim. I have to be more active. Stop being lazy.
I didn't say that.
She's funny.
But that would be something she would say to you, right?
Yes.
Right? Is that something she would say to you? Stop being lazy?
No, she would never say that. She would just, in a mentor way, she would say, you have a pool.
So she's saying it without saying it.
And you have water in the pool, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because so what is it going to take for you to get in the pool?
You know what? There's absolutely nothing other than me being lazy. Honest truth. That is it.
Even if you don't swim, even if you don't swim, part of the things that I loved going to school in California was it was so close to the ocean. Of course, I live in the Pacific Northwest, but you can't go in this water here. It's freezing. But the California water was so nice. And I think one of the things that you do is you don't have to go swimming. Just go put your feet in it.
Mm-hmm.
Just go hang out and put your feet in it, like for 5 minutes. See, part of what happens to us is we just don't start something. We just don't start it. We just, there's a start to everything. It's like that song we were talking about, seasons change. There's a start to a season. There's a beginning. There's something that happens to trigger that something is changing, right? We were talking about the fall in this show. There's a little trigger, trees change colors, and then the leaves fall. It's a little start, but it's also a start to a process of growth and a process of hibernation, right? It doesn't matter that I cleaned out my flower pots and made them all nice and neat, because the squirrels were just waiting for them so they can go in and dig up all the bulbs, because you see, there was an end to my plants, but it was the beginning to their foraging. So this is a motivation for you to start. See, mentors get us to start things. They get us to stop things. They get us to know when to hold them and when to fold them.
Right.
Just put your feet in the water. Okay.
Amazing.
Get the feet right in the water.
Yes.
Okay. I want to hear back. You
Okay.
should call in again. We have to know that you went and put your feet in the pool.
Okay.
Here, let me
Will do.
give you.
Thank
All right,
you.
let me jump from the psychic to the lawyer. For God's sakes, just go in your pool. All right. How
Yes.
much money do you spend on the pump, cleaning it, and all that a month? Get your money's worth. Get in the pool. Splash. Also, I find meditating when you're sitting in a pool.
Oh, yeah.
Particularly healing, because the water
Mm.
washes away negative energy and it helps you feel more connected.
Mm.
So now I'm going into my psychic mode. Perhaps you should meditate in your pool.
Yeah, and I'm all
Amazing.
street smart. I just want you to get your feet in the pool. All right, just get your feet in the pool. All right, thank you so much for calling in. We want to hear back from you. Thank you.
God bless you.
What a great show.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Mark, bye. Thank you so much. What a great show. What a great audience. Mark, parting words, and again, tell folks how they can find out more about you.
Well, we are going to be back next week with another call-in show, because that's our Hallows Eve. We're coming up on Halloween. But it's not that we're doing, necessarily a Halloween show, but a spirit communication show. And if people want to find out more about scheduling a one-on-one reading about my new book, The Afterlife Frequency, and signing up for my newsletter, please visit my website, afterlifefrequency.com, just like my book, my website, afterlifefrequency.com. And Dr. Pat, I'm looking forward to next week's show too. We'll be taking more calls from listeners.
I love it. Mark. And here's the thing. Seasons change. We change.
They do.
And we could keep that love in our hearts. That's what we can keep. And it doesn't matter what changes. Mark Anthony, I'm Dr. Pat. We'll see you next time. Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning into The Psychic and the Doc with Mark Anthony and me, Dr. Pat Baccili, right here on transformationtalkradio.com. Hey, look, come back next week so we can explore with you more of life's many challenges and learn from fascinating guests. And you know what? Even Mark and me. We'll connect you and discover insights from people in this life and from the afterlife. Extraordinary problems? Yeah, they do. They require extraordinary solutions. But step into the world of possibilities with us on The Psychic and the Doc. That's every Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time, right here on transformationtalkradio.com. That's transformationtalkradio.com. And don't forget, we're also live face-to-face on facebook.com, Transformation Talk Radio.